So two Democratic strategists. You saw Harlan Hill just a second ago, and we've also got Jessica Tarlov on set with as well. What do you make of the direction of this investigation and now the many days that have followed?
Well, I think it's good news that the transcripts are going to be released. I don't really understand the redaction. Everyone at this point knows what the motivation was. Well, the dual motivation, the hate crime aspect and the Islamic terror aspect. So I think that this is only going to heap on more criticism for the administration, that they're not letting the full Monty out there. I'm not surprised by it.
What would be the point of that?
Well,
Why?
we're trying to make this purely about gun control. This is a much bigger issue than just gun control.
Harlan, she said terrorism. Don't
then why
do that.
the redaction? No, then explain the redaction, because I can't
Well, it's
justify
because of the Islamic terrorism issue, what Obama explained last week, why he doesn't want to use the terminology, and they think that it's used as a recruitment.
Well, they're not using the terminology. No. They're not using the terminology. They're just releasing the full transcript of what he said, which I think is important for the American people to actually
I don't disagree with you. I'm just explaining it, that I don't think this is about gun control. I think this is more about a policy issue and, a framework that Obama's been functioning in, which George Bush functioned.
But still, you have to assume that the purpose of editing the transcripts is to put out their own message rather than what really.
Well, let's let our imaginations run wild. What's in there that they don't like? Is it something they're afraid will misinform the public?
Well, him walking into the nightclub and pledging his allegiance to this terror
Will it be that? Is there some kind of tie to something that would embarrass the administration? Is there a tie to one of our supposed allies? You see where I'm going with this? Is that possible?
Which is clear fodder for Donald Trump and his conspiracy theories, which I think is also the problem, because he's going to stand up there and he's going to say, well, what's missing in those transcripts?
By saying that, Jessica, I'm sure that a Trump supporter would challenge you on what conspiracy theory, the fact that he's acknowledging that ISIS was behind this attack.
What I'm talking about is last week, where he implied that Obama maybe sympathized with the terrorists in that interview. That's what I'm talking about.
Again, at this point, I'm struggling with the fact that we're still debating that this is radical Islamic terrorism, and the president got so steamed last week that people push him on this, but people don't trust his leadership on this issue because of your lack of action over the last more than 2 years.
But let me ask you
again, I think that he misses the point, that we're not just mad about what you call it. We're mad that many people in America don't see you.
It's worse than that, because he's whitewashing it by not releasing the full. I don't understand what he's afraid of. Just be fully transparent. That's what we were promised with the Obama administration. And at every turn, they've continued to disappoint the American people and Democrats, who expected no less from him.
Well, his approval rating is pretty high generally,
except for when you drill down on specific issues. When you drill down on his handling of terrorism, it's not positive. When you drill down on his handling of the economy, it's not positive.
But Jessica, as an American who witnessed, those 50 innocent lives taken down in Orlando, do you think as an American it's just like, they owe it to us to let us hear exactly what
I do. I mean, that's why I started by saying I think that this is a mistake, not only in terms of the PR perspective, in terms of what it does to the country and faith in the administration and in Hillary Clinton's future administration, because people will say, it'll just be business as usual with them, and she'll be a continuation of that. Yes, I completely agree, and I think that it's a problem.
Okay, so let's move on for a second here to purely politics, and we've still got Sanders fighting along, but you're in the camp that there are more and more Sanders supporters that would be willing to turn to Donald Trump should he be gone from the race.
Right, and people ask me all the time, like, why is Sanders sticking around? And it comes down to one point. I mean, the FBI still hasn't, come clean yet. I mean, they could still indict her, and I fully believe this.
I appreciate
when you look at the fact that she destroyed evidence and has obstructed justice, I mean, if she were anybody else but Hillary Clinton, I think that this would have already been settled before.
All right, and Michael, busy morning for business. So much going on. You've got Dow futures surging 200 points right now. It's all about the exit. Janet Yellen this week. Yes. What is top as far as what you're watching?
Well, top, I'm actually watching the price action. I think that's going to trump a lot here. Again, I think Brexit fears are a little bit overdone, especially, with the polls going the way they are. For me, it came down to we had expiration, a lot of funky moves. We had the Russell rebalances ended this week. So there's going to be a lot of things going on. The key thing to remember is on that last rally, we did break the highs from last November. That was a good sign. long term I can be cautious here, but short term it would not surprise me
I
to
just
see
want to
the rise.
point out, aren't you cautious as an investor now that we know that soft targets that we never imagined were would be hit by Islamic terrorism in this country are now at risk, and you're going to have a reallocation of money by individual businesses across the country where they have to either arm themselves, they're going to have to hire security guards. I don't know if that's good for the economy or not, when they should be able to invest their money elsewhere because the government is responsible for protecting them, protecting us, and the government is not protecting us.
It's a fair point. I mean, shopping malls.
We'll see what that really means. You know, is that really going to stop things? I'd like to think that it's actually not going to be a problem. That being said, I think shopping malls have their own problems in terms of jobs affecting retail, but we'll see about that. We're going to talk a little more about that today, I think.
All right. Straight ahead, a record heat wave scorches the Southwest as temperatures hit triple digits in some areas. We'll have much more on the wild weather taking over the nation. Plus,